Welcome everybody to Survive and Protect. And today I'm going to answer some questions, man, in regards to self-defense. And what I want to do is just pick some questions from the self-defense category. And let's just see what we got here, man. Okay, check it out. Let's see. What is more important in a fight, knowledge of some martial arts or a good physique? All right, I'm going to go ahead and tackle that question. First one up on here, and this question is from Ken Fox. Says Director of Marketing. Well, Ken Fox, this is for you, my man. Let me go here real quick and just put an answer on his question here. And what I'm going to do is leave a message for him. Your question will be answered on my YouTube channel, Survive and Protect. And I'm gonna go ahead and link that so when he clicks on it, or anybody clicks on it for that matter, they will check out the show here. All right, there we go. All right. So Ken, the question is, what is more important in a fight? Knowledge of some martial arts or a good physique? Now, I'm going to answer that question like this. Now, you say, what is more important in a fight? Is knowledge of some martial arts or a good physique? Well, I wouldn't even say let me answer this by saying number one, scratch the physique. It doesn't matter what your physique is. You can be sloppy fat or you can be athletic in shape, track runner in shape, basketball player, whatever. All right, it doesn't matter what physique you in. However, it's beneficial if you are in more shape and your fitness levels is better, but that's not a mandatory thing in a fight, especially in the fight I'm talking about. I'm not even talking about the ring, and I'm sure you're probably not talking about that either. You're talking about in the street. All right. And then, so we're going to scratch good physique and just leave. Now I'm left with some martial arts, knowledge of some martial arts. And to me, that even sounds like that's not even the answer as well. Now, the knowledge part of that part of your question, I would say I would keep that part. And it's not necessarily of martial arts because then it's like, okay, do I have a knowledge of Taekwondo? Do I have knowledge of Judo? Do I have knowledge of uh, Jiu-Jitsu? And at least if I have some of that, is that more important to fight? I would say what's more important is of um, your knowledge of the body, of a person's body, yours and other people, because everybody has the same body parts, all right? But you're gonna you could be dealing with somebody heavier. They still have arms, legs, eyes, ears, a throat, neck. They have knees. They have a groin if it's a man. Women have the pelvic bone. Their groin area, although it's not like a male's, they still have a groin area. And you don't know if you'll have to deal with fighting a woman as long as it's a legit reason why you fighting them. If they're attacking you and you have to protect yourself, then that's obvious. With a man, like I said, the genitalia area, the genital area is different, but we both have genital areas. We have legs, we got arms, we got fingers, we got toes, so on and so forth. So I would say what's more important is your knowledge of the body and the targets that you can exploit. All right, I would say that's number one. And I'm not saying that that's the number one, that's the top order, but that's the first thing that comes to mind. Now, another thing is as well is that you have a knowledge of what are the reactions. Hey, what are you doing in there? What are the reactions of a person when you strike a certain area? You should be able to have some general knowledge of when you attack somebody, what are their responses? Come here. What are their responses to when you strike a certain area on the body? All right. So that would be my answer to that in a nutshell, without having to go super detailed, super deep. Is that more or less is that you got to have a knowledge of the body and all the targets from the head all the way down to the toes, because there's a lot of them. There's ones you wouldn't even think about. There's certain things how to manipulate the body by touching certain, not touching like just touching they pass out. I mean that's kind of Hollywood type stuff. But what I'm saying is that you got to have a knowledge of knowing of the body and knowing when you strike a certain area, what is going to be that person's reaction when you strike them. What's going to be a person's reaction if you just swing your hand at them, and let's say you don't even touch them, but let's say, for example, most times when you fling your hand, as I'm doing like this to the camera right now, let's say that's your eyes, right? If I did like this to you, one of your natural reactions is to blink. Some people might go like this. Some people might put their head back a little bit. They want to get away from that, right? So to understand what happens when you do that, even when you physically touch a person, you have a knowledge of their reactions and how to exploit when they react to this, when they react to that. That's more important, I would say, when it comes to fighting. And lastly, I would say this is that it's not even about technique, because people say, well, you just do this technique, or they do this, you do that technique. When you're in a real fight, your mind is not going to be thinking, especially if you're getting swing and people swinging, throwing shots at you and doing all kinds of stuff. Your mind is not gonna sit there and say, okay, they did this move, and so my reaction and my technique is to do this. That's not how your brain works, and when you're in a fight, that's not how the dynamics of a fight works. Okay, so and I would also say this, and these are all without going into detail. Maybe I'll make a course in the future detailing some stuff regarding what I'm talking about. But also, on top of, like I was saying, knowing the body targets, knowing what the probable reactions of somebody's going to make when you hit them. Let's say you hit them in the chin. What's the probable reaction? What's their next response if you hit them? What's the next response if you hit them in the eyes? If you catch a finger in the eyes, what's their next response? And then, because I would know that information, I would know how to exploit you to attack somewhere else. After I attack you on this body part, or I attack you here, I know how you're going to respond before I even do it. So I'm going to do that, and then it's going to already set me up to strike something else on you. All right. And lastly, I would say to know how to take a person off balance in regards to when you're locked up, or you have to grab a person or they grab you. You got to understand, I'll say you have to know how to feel where there are angles, openings to angle yourself to where it puts that person off balance. You might not understand what I'm talking about. And like I said, in a future video or a future course, I'll put details on what I'm talking about. But generally speaking, knowing how to take somebody off balance, all right, from their feet. And there's some simple concepts to understand that. And I'll give you this as far as the understanding of it. You have your waist and hips area, say roughly between that's with every person, your waist and your hips, that's one part, and then your feet. All right. So understanding where your waist, or a person's waist and or hips, in relation to where their feet is, or how to manipulate to put their waist and or hips further away from where their feet are positioned at, to get them off balance. All right, if that makes any sense. All right, so I think that was Ken who asked that question. So Ken, there's your basic answer. I hope this is beneficial to you and it gives you a little bit more clarity on what's more important in the fight. All right. So with that being said, survive and protect, and I'm out. Peace.